Why in the world would someone need a trust? I mean, really, what is a trust? But why do we need it? Why is it so important? Why would it save us time, money, and headaches for us and for our heirs? Why would there be so many benefits to having a trust? And why does nobody do it? Well, let's find out and stay to the end and find out the 7 biggest mistakes made in probate. Ha! And we're giving you a hint. One of them is not having a trust. But stay to the end and you click on that and you get a free book. All right, let's get into it. Why do you want to have a trust? First of all, what is a trust? Well, first of all, you need to talk to a lawyer and or an accountant, because I'm not either one of those. So find out from a professional to get the details. But basically, a trust is an instrument, a device to allow all of your assets to go to your heirs easily and effortlessly and legally. So why do you want one? And first of all, why don't we get one? Well, who wants to talk about your death? So everybody puts it off, nobody ever does it, and then you have all kinds of problems. Your family does. So what are those problems? Why do you really want one? Well, number one, a trust avoids probate. What's probate? A probate is where the court decides where all of your assets go. Your house, your jewelry, your personal property, everything. They decide it, not you. So who wants that? Plus, it costs a lot of money. A lawyer, for instance, $1 million house here in California, a lawyer would get $23,000. They'd probably really earn it, but that's what you'd have to pay. Now, you can get a lawyer for a fraction of that to set up the trust. They still make money. Everybody's happy, especially your heirs. For instance, they save the $23,000. You're supposed to also, you could pay the person, the family member that handles it. They're entitled to the $23,000. So that's $46,000 that the estate doesn't have just because you didn't do a trust up front. So you really want to have a trust. Number one reason by far is you want to avoid probate. Plus it takes 6 months, 9 months, maybe a year. You might want the money ahead of time. You might need the money ahead of time. The reason number two, it prevents future incapacity protection. Let's say you're not dead, but let's say you're unable to make those special decisions for yourself. A trust can set all that up for you. Wouldn't you want your spouse to be able to handle stuff for you and take care of stuff? Or did you want everything to be in limbo? So it spells it all out, it makes it legal, makes it so it can be executed, meaning it can happen. Number three, maybe you don't care if you're dead, maybe you do. But guess what? A probate? Because if you don't have a trust, go into probate. All of your laundry, all of your finances, everything is public record. Most people are private. They don't want the whole world to know all of your business. Well, you might want to get a trust. Protect your confidentiality. Fourth, it protects the beneficiaries. What's a beneficiary? It's the people who benefit, get your stuff, basically. And it'll help protect them against creditors and people trying to mooch in on it. It's because it's a legal document that says what goes where. By the way, a will doesn't do that. It just doesn't. Sounds good, but it's not legally binding. Again, check with your lawyer, but that's what I understand. It's not legal, but a trust is. So you want to protect the beneficiaries, your loved ones, the people you're giving money to, against creditors and that sort of thing, all right? Number five, preserves family wealth. Hey, no offense to people who come into the family through a marriage, but they're not your blood. They're not your kin. Hey, you could get somebody that's been married for 6 weeks and they get as much as your brother. So it's going to help preserve your family's wealth. It's fair. I believe that it's fair. Someone you've been in part of your family, your blood is, they say blood's thicker than water, then especially if it's a marriage that was short. I mean, if you're married for 57 years, okay, you're the family now, okay? But if it's 57 weeks, no, not so much. So it preserves your family's Well, another reason, number 6, it could formulate and preserve family values. Maybe your values, but hey, it's your stuff, your money. Maybe you could be selfish there. Let's say you really want to contribute to the Humane Society. You love animals. Or a society that's preserving the planet, or whatever you would like, you could stipulate that the trust gives that certain amount of money to that organization or that cause, the Peace Corps, all right? Whatever it is. And so those values could be perpetuated through the trust to and for the family. So that's a number 6 family values. And then number 7, which is probably the second most important. I hear it all the time in probate. How's the probate coming? Not so good because we have some family members that aren't beneficiaries. We're in the will, we're in the trust, thinking they want some of the loot, some of the assets, some of the cash, some of the value, the beneficiary, some of your stuff, or the person's stuff, but they weren't entitled to it. Well, a trust will be a legally binding contract that says who gets what. Remember, a will doesn't count so much. It's not as enforceable. So those are the 7 reasons you want to have a trust. So click on here and get your free book, The 7 Biggest Mistakes Made in Probate and How to Avoid Them. That's it for this week. David Klein Lovett, broker owner, Next Home First Choice, your choice in real estate. Signing off until next week. Blessings to you and your family.